Have you ever felt like you just underperformed this week? Well, that's kind of how I'm feeling, right? Nothing grand to write home about, nothing big, nothing bad either. So, I mean, I guess there's that. So, I'm just going to make this short video real quick, kind of going over what my performance was like this week, some of the trades that we took in our live classes, kind of some learning lessons and things I'm going to be focusing on next week. So, here's where we're sitting at on the week. It obviously looks small. I know it doesn't sound small, but it looks smaller compared to last month, which I'll show you here in a second, mostly because by the end of this day, I caught that move at the end of the day. I was barely sitting at a couple of thousand. We did get this back over 14,000. Today was an easy day. Obviously, the market sold off. But during the actual week, Wednesday, I didn't really catch much of a move. This was my 1 p.m. trade that technically falls on Wednesday because of how TradeZella does it. But Thursday, according to the firms. So overall, I didn't underperform, but I don't feel like I performed well. So I guess maybe that's the boring stuff that we're kind of aspiring to. I'll take it where I can get it, I suppose. But to kind of give us an idea, this was last month, if it will let me. Very slow, very laggy. So last month, obviously, we had kind of a record month, which was awesome. Granted, I added some bigger accounts that are live accounts and not prop firm accounts to this, which kind of changes the parameters a lot, because those accounts aren't having the same rules, the same restrictions. I can hold, I can do all kinds of different things. So that's where that big difference comes in. I had this whopper of a loss on Monday, which I know wasn't monetarily necessarily the biggest, but it was because it ended up hitting kind of the end of day drawdown, the trailing drawdowns on a lot of my already funded or pro accounts with many different firms. So it was kind of a slow grind back up. I can also say that this right here is often a time like when I make this mistake, this rolls over and or was rolled over. So just kind of trying to save some of the accounts that I did have left all week, just kind of a slow burn. But this is where we're sitting overall. Scroll all the way down, you can see there's more red days obviously in July, and actually way more before that because of the tech stuff. I don't know why this is so slow, but to kind of give us an idea, that's July. There we go. So every month is still kind of sitting around that $50,000, $60,000 range. Win rate averaging that 70%, which is where I want to be. P&L, we've got 50,000, 70, 60, 220, and now we're already at 36,000 for the first week. And again, the number of trades is kind of slowly decreasing, which was something I was aspiring to. Obviously, I know TradeZella kind of tracks it differently, and open closes all look a little bit different. So that's where we're sitting at on the week so far, 36,000 in closed out profits. Let's go take a look at the actual trades we took and our overall performance. So bear with me. I guess we're going to start with this, kind of just our spreadsheet. Again, we didn't take a lot of class trades this week. So we got NQ. I missed the buy on Wednesday. I was not prepared for it. I was looking for a bit of a pullback. It was sitting at my perfect ideal level, and I still didn't take it. So I ended up only taking the one trade in PM session that night. Tuesday was great. Thursday was great. Easy trading week in general. Smooth for the most part, which is awesome. On the week, we're sitting at about 6%, 374 points. And overall this year, we're sitting at 12,000 points, over 435% gain, assuming you are risking 1%. So that's life-changing. It's life-changing. And I know it takes time to kind of perfect that and get the right personal capital that are going to fund that. And you have to withdraw to pay your real bills if you have a real life. But in general, life-changing, right? So let's go take a look at the actual charts real quick. Not the best view. Let's see if I can't clean this up a little bit. We are sitting on NQ right now. Ooh, don't love this software that I'm using today. But to kind of go over the big picture, obviously this week we finally broke down past this kind of higher time frame trend line, if you will. And from there it was just easy targets all the way. So this was our Tuesday trade. We bought up. We had rejected over kind of that pre-market hours. We had made a new high, retested back in, failed to get below the 61%, and we bought. Beautiful, simple. We got, I think, 170. We had a lot of points on that, 140 point move. We caught. I took this as a clean one entry kind of well-managed trade, letting the rest of it play out, scaled out of some early on. Easy peasy. Then comes Wednesday. This is the day that I'm not super in love with my behavior, my performance on, because let's see, let me grab my fibs real quick. So we came down, we failed to get back below that 61%. And then again, this right here, I'm going to have to delete that. This little wick right here is perfectly retesting back into an area that I knew I would have wanted to be buying. So that kind of failed. Oh, backwards. Try that one more time. See if I can get it right. There we go. Just make sure it's right. We failed to kind of get back below that 50%. This was that beautiful entry that I would have been looking for. But full transparency, I was looking at the bigger picture and not necessarily at this micro move. So when this came to happen, I was looking to kind of take out a little bit more, kind of fill that imbalance a little bit, that fair value gap. So I missed it, wasn't super excited, wanted to retest, never got one all day. Ended up not trading all New York this day, didn't call a trading class, and that's kind of where we were sitting. So this low to high is now invalid. We're going to go ahead and erase that. And this is, of course, October's low. It's October's 50%. Come to Thursday. Thursday was clean. Thursday was easy. Now, my first entry did not mirror properly, so I had to take a second entry. It's kind of sloppy in general for entry-wise. But overall, direction was great here and here. We knew this was going to be the target. We tapped into that 50% for September perfectly, amazingly, and then whipped up. That was the big news, Trump tweet, if you will. This time we caught that great move. We came back into it, got a reaction out of it, not only multiple times, and now come Friday. So when we opened for Friday, we were below not only the halfway point for October, we were bearish in every regard. Of course, we never got back above. We're probably not going to be closing that gap today. It's possible, but it was, again, an easy sell-off day. I'm sure everybody wanted to buy, and simply we weren't getting one. So we kind of broke through this little flag pattern to the downside. If I grab a little trend line, we broke through this right here, and it's sold all day. I don't even know how many points in total, but a crap ton of points on New York. So we're at 400 points down. That's 1.5% just for New York session. So that's where we're sitting right now. Let's talk about what we're looking at, kind of seeing next week. So I can tell you my personal kind of agenda is, again, I'm trying to move more toward that 5-minute time frame. A little hard because then areas like this, you're going to get chopped up. There's no way not to get chopped up. But I want the 5-minute for confirmation on direction, and I'm trying to get away from those smaller time frames. The second thing I want to do, and I know this probably sounds so cheesy, I know, but it's what I'm working on. I want my arrows, and so I'm going to call it Operation Arrow or something like that. I don't know yet. I'll pick something silly. I want my arrows, okay, to match where my entry should be, right? That's what my goal is that my arrow, so like, for example, if I'm entering in here and this is like what I'm marking up, I don't want to see the trade of 8 kind of arrow. I don't want to see the Project X, kind of the scattered whatever. And I know I'm getting a lot of that mostly because of I'm scaling out early of the first portion of that position to kind of comply with some of the prop firm's rules. But either way, I'd like to see me enter where I'm supposed to enter reasonably close, within a couple of points. I know the market moves very fast sometimes, so it'll be less or more. But then I'd like to see me hold, okay, to the 2-to-1 or greater effectively, and just have it called, Operation Arrow. That's what my agenda is until I'm given a reason to get out or I've hit my target of what I'm looking for. That's what I'm going to be working on. I will say it's a little harder to do in this side of the industry because there's so many rules. Some accounts you can only make $750 on the day. Some accounts you can make less. Some accounts you're just flipping. You just kind of need $50 or $250 to get to the next payout, right? Some accounts have trailing drawdown intraday. I think I said that right. But either way, it's constantly fluctuating, so you can't afford this to come up wick down like this. Even though you're right on the trade, you can't afford this wick. It'll eat up so much of it and potentially even blow the whole account even though you're right on the trade. So for that reason, I'll see. I am scaling down in terms of size, so it should give me plenty of room to do that. But I don't know. We'll see how it works. My only objective is I would like to see my entry and my exit be closer to where I'm projecting and predicting according to my 5-minute model. That's all my goal is kind of Operation Arrow, really get those arrows kind of where I want them to be, even if it includes a scale out in between. I can handle that. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for myself, for my own performance. But let's go take a look at next week. I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of this stuff. Of course, we've got New York low pre-market high, all those levels. So we're going to keep those there. I'll use them next week and readjust accordingly. As of now, we have officially broke down past that area. We have officially made a lower low, and that's a fairly important lower low. Now, we have not closed below that, okay? Let's first, own that. And we are still 100% in a bullish market. There's simply no way around that. This is not the big retracement yet. We don't have any reason to think that it is. We would really need to get quite a bit further down, maybe even below September's 50%, which is the 24,100s. Might be kind of the area we need to kind of get below, is in this, before we can really say we're bearish. But as of now, we've hit the ADR, the ATR, the ETH, all the average lows by more than 150%. And even on the daily, I think on the weekly, we are ATRing down. Like this candle, depending on where it closes, I think we've definitely hit that today. This will be a weekly ATR down. So, of course, we're going to hopefully get some kind of a retest back up. We'd have left some gaps in here. If I go to extended trading range somewhere. It's not on here right now. But if you go to extended trading range or like regular trading range, regular trading hours, you're going to see that gap that was left behind. So big picture next week, this is going to be the second week of November. Of course, I'd like to see a bit of a retest. But overall, if we're going to continue steaming down, let's look for our next levels. That's what we want to talk about, is where are our next levels. Obviously, we're not going to short at the bottom because that's just silly. We've got obviously a crap ton of fair value gaps and imbalances all the way up. Just a lot of money left behind. So if this is where we closed at on yesterday's trading price, which is the 25,300s. It's not going to be nearly as valid come next week. But what is going to be still super important is going to be stuff like the point of control from last week. So if we're going to leave that all behind, we've got the 25,000 whole number. That's going to be key, okay? We've got the 25,300s. Now, are we going to get back up there today? That's a 500-point move. That's a lot of points. So likely not today, but anything's possible. It's 444 points. So that's what I'm hoping to see happen next week, is maybe wick down on that Sunday gap, open, potentially even down to the 24.4s, and come all the way back up to kind of retest, take some of this internal liquidity, and then we'll have our big question mark to say, are we going to go back up or are we going to start to head down? So we'll see how next week plans out. But that's all I've got for you guys. I hope you guys have an incredible weekend. As always, if you like this kind of content, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're buying any of the prop firms, check out our link tree. It's a small way to support us and our channel and every single thing that we're building, including futures automation for things like the orb. We know how everybody is using some variation of the orb. Well, we've automated it to where you can actually have it enter all by itself and manage all by itself from TradingView to your broker according to your own strategy, right? If you're targeting whether that's London Open or New York Open or even some other times of the day. We've got that. Of course, we've got some other automations for a couple of different platforms that just slowly but surely, none of them are making a bajillion dollars, let's be practical, but all of them can make a better percent gain than anything anyone's seeing on a savings account in a year. You can make that in a month. You can make that, probably times 4 or 5 in a month. But start small, go small, and then, survive. The whole point of this industry is first you've got to survive before you can, grow. So as always, if you're interested in any of that stuff, check out www.sixfiguretradingcoach.com. Everything that we're working on is there, and the link to the free public Discord is also in the link tree. See that below. Otherwise, have a happy weekend. Go do something fun while there's still a little bit of sunshine, depending on where you're at in the world and the country. And I will meet you guys on the charts next week.